Hey, Mr. John, how you been?
I am great, Ronnie, and yourself?
Doing great. I appreciate you taking a meeting with me today. I wanted to reach out to you because, you've presented at Notary Stars before, and, we brought you in because there were so many notaries telling us like what wonderful training that they were getting from you for apostilles. And the reason I wanted to talk to you today is because, back during COVID, I'm right here in Arizona. That's where Unlimited Ink and Notary Stars permeates from. And I had done apostilles before, never really took any training on it. Didn't really understand it, just knew that people would pay an extra fee to go run down and run it to the office. So it wasn't as much on my radar until, the downturn of the market. And then we started having all these notaries going, oh my God, you got to meet this guy. You got to meet this guy. He's like the apostille trainer, like Notary Stars. He's like the real deal. And so I started looking into you and I got more and more, and we brought you on, and you really gave such an eloquent and presentation. And I had even more notaries go over and train with you. Well, they had closed the Secretary of State's office for walk-in services, which mean you get to mail them in, and that was just too much during the COVID time for me with all the signings we were doing for loan signings at Unlimited Ink. But when they opened the office recently, I kind of took all the things that you had presented to us and I started reaching out to your graduates. And I have to tell you, I'm thoroughly impressed by the service that they've been able to offer us. And they got me to put it on the Unlimited Ink Notary website. And so we officially launched the opening, I would say, January 1st. And since then, we've done about 3 to 4 apostilles a week. And now I'm only focusing in the greater Phoenix area at the moment. I plan on doing them throughout the country. Uh, but I wanted to come back and talk to you because as I'm starting to reach out to some of the graduates, and I find two things, and I was wondering if there's something we could do together, and I want to show you something later. There's something that I wanted to talk about, and I want to see how you feel. I feel like there's a lot of people who took the training and they're raring to go, but sometimes they don't know how to dig their heels in and get started. And then those who have gotten started, they still are missing some marketing opportunities to get the apostille going. Do you feel that that could be one of the issues with the momentum of apostille agents?
Yes, Ronnie, I definitely do. Uh, Mainly, one of the reasons too, like what we do is we teach them how to do it and how to do it efficiently and productively and where the clients are happy and stuff like that. But we don't have a full-blown marketing plan.
Mhm.
And where you can say, here is a course of study that you can follow, and it should be able to help you market. And that's a big gap. That is a big gap. I totally agree with you there.
Yeah. Um, I so the concern that I have is I have already worked with your agent, so I know that they got the ability, right? Like I know that if they worked with you, that they know what they're doing and that they're trustworthy. And so I've come up with some ideas. So in my marketing class over at Notary Stars, I, I always try to show people how to get their digital footprint, maximize it. And some of these people that I've worked with are so knowledgeable, okay, about apostille more than me. Okay, I'm just getting started again. But I'm relying on these people, but I'm taking a cut of their money. And that's okay. I own a signing service. That's my job. If I can get the business and give it to you, then I will take a cut for that. But these are high dollar ticket items, right? And I'm paying more for apostille facilitation by partnering with people. But I wanted to actually show you some things that I think maybe you will help your students, and show you some things also of how our students and your students both could possibly work together throughout the country
Mm.
because we've launched something new over at Notary Stars, and I just want to show you really quick a few things. Okay,
Okay.
now I do believe when you're first getting started doing apostilles, it's really important to mark yourself. Like for instance, we have the ability in Notary Stars to mark yourself as an apostille agent. That goes out into the search rankings if you just mark that button. And other notary sites may have a tick box. One of the most important ones that I'll start with, this is actually the back end of signing order. I'm just going to do a quick refresh before I share the screen. And I just want to show you, so this is the back end of how a signing service searches for a particular type of notary. Now you were on this call, all of the training logos, such as yours, ours, all of them are getting put into signing order. You can still, before they release that this year, can go in and mark yourself as an apostille agent. Now it looks a little bit differently on the notary side, but if I'm looking for an apostille agent as a signing service, if I tick that box there, it's going to tell me if you've got self-identified as an apostille agent. Now I'm still going to be looking for your course. So I'm going to want them to upload in the other section credentials. And on Notary Stars, you can upload credentials. I'm going to show you another thing in just a minute. That's one way that notaries can start getting apostille business right away. And if you're brand new to it, I think, Mr. John, it's okay to maybe work with a signing service, get your feet wet, let them help you with the instructions. You help them with what you know, get your feet wet and how long it takes you. Like we learned very quickly, it's an average of 45 minutes at the Arizona Secretary of State's office to get in the door and out, even if you're the first person there. And so that's our average turnaround time. So we can promise that same day by just knowing those things. So if you're brand new, working with a signing service that's doing apostille is great, but you don't want to stick in that signing service zone. We don't ever want to just always work for signing services. We want our own direct business. So I'm going to show you something really quick. This is one of my landing pages on Unlimited Ink Notary. My site is nothing special. I mean, I'm very proud of it. I built it myself. I've built way better websites. I've always told people it's not the color of your website. It's not the logo. It's the information on the page that gets you found. So this is one of them. And I want to just go out here to Google search and show you how this works. And this is what I want your students to know that can be done. So we're going to go to a tried and true Google search here. And I'm just going to type in Apostille Arcadia, Arizona. And boom, there's the Secretary of State's office talking about apostille. Then there's Unlimited Ink. This is a well-built, strong web page, but it's not just one web page. That's the one for Arcadia. When I open it, you'll notice that it looks just like another one that I have. So let's go back out and do another quick search. Let's change that to Scottsdale, Arizona. Got the Secretary of State's office. And boom, Unlimited Ink. This is why you want to tick that box in Notary Stars, because look, Notary Stars is right up under Unlimited Ink. They can come through, and I'm just one guy in one area. They can come through and find you just because you tick that box, and it comes back with says Apostille Services Results, Scottsdale, Arizona. They can go in and they can get direct business from Notary Stars. Now, you can see nobody in Scottsdale has marked themselves as an apostille agent. But I know for a fact I have some of your graduates in Scottsdale, Arizona that have not ticked that box. They're in Notary Stars, but they're missing that opportunity. All they have to do is come in and go to edit their listing. And this works on any site that works similar to Notary Stars. You're just going to go in and edit your listing details. Oops, sorry. Hit the wrong button there. All right, and you can see that Apostille Services is here.
This is great.
If they just tick that box of what they actually offer, Google's going to serve back a page like this, because what it's doing is dynamically pulling a list of everybody who says in that area I service apostilles. Now on a site as massive as Notary Stars, that's big. You're competing with even above Google My Business. I love showing this part, Mr. John, because you see what's under my website and Notary Stars? Google Business.
Mhm.
Everybody thinks that they search notary near me, and they don't. For instance, I have pages like this, Jail Notary Services. And the internet already knows where I'm at. You can see it's locating. I'm in 850. I'm actually in 85013. You can see Unlimited Ink Notary is dominating. That's one of my students. There's another website that we own. We've got the whole there's me. That's actually a picture of me. We've got the whole town on lockdown for service in jail. So I thought we can apply this to Apostille. So what this is what you're looking at here. This is my website, and we've built what we call dynamic pages. Now I'm not going to give away everything because I teach this in a class, but basically we come in, build one great quality page, and then all you're doing is updating a spreadsheet with your service area. And it generates all of these pages that dynamically change this way. Now, that's kind of complicated for an average person, and I get that because I've taught it for 2 years now in class. So over Christmas this year, I built what I think is the ultimate notary website template that I think Apostille agents can use. I've already started, I launched it on January 15th, and there's 47 of the 260 members, but you got to realize a lot of my members have been there for years with me, so they have already built their website, so they don't need another one. But I built what we call, I think, the ultimate signing agent template for a website. They can come in here and it looks very basic at the moment, but I go step by step on how to customize each section of this. And it looks like a small website, but it's actually a website that can reach up to 50,000 zip codes. It can reach, if you're a Ron notary, it can reach every zip code in America because we already have installed the dynamics for creating any page that you want to for all viable zip codes in America. So you can see those scrolling along the side there. With Apostille, we have an Apostille page here that's linked over to Apostille, doing exactly what I'm doing with this page here. So every notary that works with me as a signing agent, and we can go through that entire list of things. So I could do another one here, Chandler, Arizona, Apostille. Just something that a signer might type in. There's one of my students there, and I know another student helps her with the site. Little bit more of a struggle on here. She's also one of the students, but then there it is. Apostille Services, Chandler, Arizona. I'm still on the first page. There's another one of my students. So I feel that this would be beneficial, you know, to help notaries so that they can learn to bring that business in for themselves. And I also talk about direct sales. So I wanted to tell you about this too, and then I'm going to share. So don't let me forget this one thing because I have one way that we can all work together. Another way that we've been generating a lot of this business since January 1st is we partnered with a document translation service company, and they have all certified translators. And what I found is 50% of those document translations that are needed, and they do over 130 languages. So here's what they do. They have all the certified translators. We take the order, and I teach you how to sell that all over the country or in your local area. We take the orders for the document translations, and then in that process, we say, do you need this apostilled? And 50% of those actually convert over to, we don't do any work on the document translation. So this is kind of like double dipping. The company has agreed to let us charge our own rates for the document translations as long as we pay their rate for the document translation. So they charge $30 to $40 a page. I just tell the customer flat out $50 a page. Then if they need it certified, it's an additional $50. I did one this week that was $750. I kept the profit after I paid the company. Then they needed to move it to an apostille, and then I was able to make money off the apostille side. So I started asking my my students in my class, where are you getting your apostille business? And they're like, I don't know. And and in just a month, I've been able to generate, you know, a significant amount of money for the company just getting a grip on apostille and bringing it in. Now I do have an advantage because I know how to market, but I also want to help other people market their business too. And what I'm finding is that you have trained some really brilliant minds out there that really know what they're doing. And I don't want them to have this wonderful education, but then not know how to actually do it. The last thing, and I know I talk a lot, so I appreciate you listening, is we've come up with an idea in my marketing class and we wanted to reach out to you as well. And it looks very simple right now, but in the marketing journey, and I want to have this, you know, available for you as well. So if we take a look at this this page here, and this is what I told you not to let me forget. So you didn't let me forget it. We created in the Notary Star marketing journey, and we want to work with your students as well. We created this page, and it'll look better, but it's ready to go. They just need to fill out their name, phone number, email, their function. So if they're a runner only, because some people they may want to just do running, or they may want to do full facilitation. We're toying with the idea of saying, open to either. We are going to add in a suggested pricing, for a single document or starting price. But you can come in here and select and upload your certificate. Now, what this does is it goes to an online spreadsheet, and I don't have that available right now because I don't want to share everybody's information. But what that's doing is it goes to an online spreadsheet that automatically categorizes Alabama, Georgia, Arizona. And so your students can self-identify themselves so they can work with other students in other states that have taken your training, and they can work with Notary Stars because we're you've got Apostille on lockdown. We've got loan signing agent training on lockdown. And we go over certificates and all those things as well. I think, between our two communities, that's another avenue where we could bridge the gap. And what I find is by working with these well-trained notaries that you have so wonderfully put into the world, that I'm making my business better. And, I recently did one in another state, and I was using one of your graduates, and it made me feel much more comfortable to speak to them and know, okay, if I'm going to hire this person or if I'm going to partner and we're going to take a risk, because I have to tell you, doing an apostille is a risk. Because let's say you run up a $1,500 bill, right?
Yes.
And you have to do that again. Guess who pays for it the second time? And the first time I created a shipping label for an apostille, guess how much the shipping label was? And I'll even tell you where it was going. It was going to India. So Arizona to India, and they needed it next day. How much do you think it was?
Oh, next day?
Yeah.
Probably $400.
Yeah. And so I quickly learned that there are no rooms for errors. I know I'm talking too much, and then I'd love to hear from you on what you've seen. But I immediately invented a process that I emailed the shipping label to the customer. And I said, you must write me back and verify that this is the address. Because I was like, there's no way that I'm going to accidentally send a shipping label to the wrong place. And I put it in my terms and conditions too, that if there was any problem with shipping, that is not on the responsibility of us. Once it leaves our hand and we have that receipt, it's off us. I've made them agree to that. But what I was saying that for was, I now see the importance of working with well-trained notaries for apostille, because I would be terrified to hire somebody that hasn't taken real quality training. So do you think that there's a way for us to kind of come together and bring your students and our students together to work together and maybe help did you see anything useful that your students might be able to use to help market their business?
Yeah, I really did, Ronnie. One thing that sort of hit me quickly was exposure. The marketing plan that you have put together there, it gets them to, because what the agents are looking for is exposure. They need to be seen, and they need to be seen in the right type of environment. The dynamic webpage is great. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. You're getting custom tailored according to where people are looking. That's going to save. It's going to save you. Like if people even clicking, that saves you on clicks, because they're going to click right there where you are. So I see. Yes, I get a lot of questions. By the way, people I come up under, even though it's not in my keywords, but I do come up under notary training. And so a lot of people come to me looking for notary training, and I have to turn them away. Because I don't turn them away anymore. If I talk to them, I tell them to you, because I like your program. It's a very good program and it's thorough. But between the two companies, I can, yeah, I can see, number one, let me back up. Most of my graduates have been pushing, said, I need to be able to get a marketing plan. I said, I can't, that's not my area of expertise. I'm a developer and a planner. And so a lot of these people, I unfortunately, we do a bare bones basic. It's nothing like what you do, but it's just something to get them out of the door, just to get them started. But what you have is a lot more in depth. And I think, if I don't think, I am almost positive that a lot of graduates would be very interested in that, because this is what the demand is. This is what they've been asking for me. And what gets me even, I guess, even a little bit more excited is now I can refer people to say, I know what you're looking for. Here's an excellent resource, an
Yeah.
excellent resource. And so,
That's what we
yes.
do with you. Like when people call me and ask me, can you teach me apostille? You know, I tell people I hire people that John Nelson has taught. I don't I don't want to teach apostille. I know there's so many facets to it. We actually have appointed one person in the greater area that's one of your students, especially for non-Hague countries. We decided, for a Hague country, it's a little bit easier. With non-Hague, it gets a little bit more complicated. We decided, let's just give that person all the business. Let them do the Hague. They're going to make more money. They should deserve it. They've been doing it longer. They took all the education. They've never given us a problem. This lady will be on the airport runway at 7 p.m. handing it to UPS. She makes it happen. And so, and that was AMB Mobile Notary. I'm going to put her name on that because you saw her in the searches. She comes to class. She's very knowledgeable. When it comes to, non-Hague, it's not that hard, but I'm still using your graduates for that. What I'm doing is facilitating getting the business. I built the booking engine form. I built the website. I got us found. But I'm using other people and I'm making money off of it. And here's the thing. People ask me all the time, why are you teaching other people how to build these websites? If you know how to do it, why would you teach people in your local area and competitor? And I always say this is the truth about marketing, because eventually they will give up and I will not give up. I will never, I've been marketing for 15, 20, 20 years on all the businesses, but for notary, 15 years. And there's a lot of trainers out there that say make 6 figures. Well, my company makes millions. And I'm not going to turn that away because, once you start making that, it's say more money, more problems, you got a lifestyle to maintain. I want them to have their piece of the pie. And I feel bad. And here's the other thing is I'm 45 now and I would like to retire maybe by 50. I have said this, I just had a call with another really big signing service that everybody knows. And I don't know if I don't have permission to mention her name. So everybody knows her. Really large signing service. And she's actually using the website template and hired me for another project for another business she does. We're good. I think we're getting to be good friends. And she goes, why would you do this? And I said, it's very easy. Because in, 5 or 7 years, I'm going to retire anyway. And, I'm hoping somebody will just say, can we give you a part-time job, to be a marketing? Because I'm never going to want to stop working. I just don't know if I'm going to keep going at this level. It maybe maximum 10 years, 55. I want to be living because I have friends who didn't live this long. And, I'm hoping I'll get some enjoyment out of my life. So offering to help people. And by the way, that website template's free as long as they're a student of my class. I don't charge them for that website template.
I sort of chuckle under my breath. I hope I didn't show it in the recording when you said that you were going to retire, but then you said, I won't stop working. I said, okay, I can buy that with Ronnie. I just,
Yeah. Eventually, I'd like to put some of this energy that I have into, catching a fish or, hiking a mountain or doing something while I still have the energy to do it. But, to have built a multi-million-dollar signing service took a lot out of me, a lot of energy, a lot of brain power, a lot of there's a lot of gray hairs in here that, that I'm quite certain that this company put here. But I love what I do. And, now it's time to turn a lot of that knowledge over to respectable people. And I have to say, people who've trained with me and trained with you, we're not the rah-rah-ree people. We really get into what students really need to know. And I think our circle, your students and my students could work really well together throughout the country.
I agree.
And with a little bit of wind in the sails, uh, I will tell you this, I'm finding out very quickly how much business there is for Apostille. And it's not that I've never been interested in it, but I built this company on loan signings, and then 2 years ago I added in photo inspections, and we took a lot of business from one of the big companies out there. We got a big account, so we've done a lot of photo assignments. And then I started partnering with Ron Notaries, and we added in Ron, and we've been expanding. Now we're doing document translations and apostilles. It's just the evolution of a company. Travis actually said, with document translations and apostilles, like he was like, we may not need loan signing agent clients at all. And I was like, wow, there is really enough business out there
Mhm.
to do that. And so part of the reason I'm reaching out to you is because I wanted to kind of show off the marketing and let you know that your students have a door to walk through. And I find it to be a very inexpensive door. To be a marketing student, it's just $69.95 a month, and you get everything we offer plus the website template and all of that stuff on the marketing level. But the other thing is just the partnership between the notaries. That's free.
Mhm.
Creating that central location between your students and our students, people that you can trust, that are dedicated to excellence, that want to do everything right, that have been taught by people who care about doing it right, bringing those students together to be able to work together. So imagine, you're over in California and you have a lot of people who travel in California and have homes in other areas. And they may need to get something apostilled in Washington or Arizona or New Jersey, wherever they have a second home or another life. We have a lot of Canadians here. You may need people who need apostilles for different reasons, or you might get somebody who has a birth certificate that they were born in Texas. Like California is the Mecca, one of the Meccas, right? Or what do you call those things? The melting pots.
Mhm.
And, somebody might bring you a birth certificate and you'd be like, well, I can't do this in California, but I can use my partner over in Texas. And you just go to that central location between your students and our students and say, oh yeah, I got a partner in Texas. We're launching that, and I'd like to get your students to fill their names in there, so that if they're growing their business, if they're trying to do it nationwide, or even if they're just doing it locally, they'll know who's a runner, they'll know who's a full facilitator. And the thing about runners is, to just put an icing on that cake, because I think it's a beautiful idea to bring these two together. Before anybody says, well, I just want to run, looks down on somebody just running, the runners on here have to take your course. Some people take the course and they still just want to be a runner because they can do multiple packages in a day and it's less pressure, and they would let the other person do the facilitation. And I find that to be okay too. I feel if you say I'm going to be a runner, but I'm going to take the course, that's okay with me. But I get nervous. They'll say, oh, I've heard other companies that I've talked at. I went to dinner with one recently, and not talking down on them because they're a good friend of mine, but they actually said about the apostille, they said, oh, we just hire any notary to run them into the Secretary of State's office. And I thought, not on an apostille. Like,
Mhm.
I understand you get a number, you fill out some forms, but they need to know what's going on with that package and understand the entire process,
Mhm.
because hiring just any notary for $700 plus, like, that's someone's paycheck for the week. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
that would be a significant hit on a deal. And so the runners on there, we are requiring them to have, nobody can just sign up and say I'm a runner. And if they do, they're going to have uploaded training certification
Mhm.
in order to be a runner. And we will put on that spreadsheet, you know, to use at your own risk, just because somebody signed up as a runner. Because we want that full training that you offer. We want to see that on the when I partners with someone, I want to see what training they have.
You know, Ronnie, that's you've really said how important it is. But let me add this to that. Stuff happens. You know, the old saying, both parts of Murphy's Law, if anything can go wrong, it will.
Mhm.
And the second part of that saying is that it will go wrong at the worst possible time. That's true too. And so if you have a notary who is not familiar with this process or what needs to be done or what can be adjusted, you have an issue. Number one, when your runners are trained people, okay, and someone sends them a document, they may say, hey, no, I can't take this up. It's missing this and it's missing that. They would not probably know that as a regular notary, but as someone who's processing legalizations, they know that, no, this is not right. We can't do it this way. So that's a huge thing, because not only do you run the risk, like you shared earlier, about out of pocket costs that didn't have to be. Also, the agents, including myself, when I have a client, I make a commitment as to when it's going to be there. Now, if something goes wrong on my part, all of a sudden I'm not trustworthy anymore, because that guy said, John told me he's going to have it in 3 days. Now he's up to 2 weeks and he's calling me with all this stuff. So probably I would never see that client again in the first place. But I'm just trying to provide valid support of that runner being trained, because that runner has another set of eyes that can look and probably find things that may have been missed that would delay the legalization.
I can give you a great example of this, okay? Wonderful example. This will be a great way to kind of wrap up this call. This is a perfect prime example. So recently, I pulled in a client off of these landing pages. The client says, you know, I'm getting this done for the second time. The first notary messed it up.
Cool.
And I said, okay, can you send me a copy of it so that I can see what we're working with? And he says, it has to be this certificate. And you know, this is the great thing about partnerships. So this is a great example of partnerships and how they work. I find myself to be pretty knowledgeable. I own a nationwide signing service, but I don't know everything in the world. I have a great team. I called in Beth. You guys know Beth Hathoot. We call her one of the GOATs. She's the greatest of all times when it comes to notarial certificates, loan documents. And we look at this certificate and we're very fixated on the certificate. And all we could see is that the notary had started to write the name, started to sign her name where the signer was supposed to sign. She put 3 lines through it and then initialed it, and then he signed, and then she signed the certificate. What it was a high school transcript, okay? So hear me out. We looked at the certificate and we thought, well, maybe it's because it's an apostille, they want a perfect form, and that could be it. So we go back and forth with the guy, and he's speaking broken English with us, you know, like he's trying to explain, but it wasn't coming across. And I reached out to one of your graduates who had already done high school transcripts, and immediately they gave the answer. The answer was the person who signed the transcript, the notarial certificate, was not the school official who signed the seal of the transcript. They needed those signatures to match. It had nothing to do with lining through the signature and making a mistake. It was that they have a person in an office that signs the transcript. So they sign, stamp, and then they say, take this to the front desk, someone's going to pick it up. Then that notary comes in to pick it up and says, I need to put you under oath that this is, while we're in this school, that this is a true and correct transcript. Well, that person signed and said, yes, this is a true and correct transcript. But the person who handed it and took the oath was not the person who signed the transcript. And what they were looking for over in Spain is that the person who signed that transcript is the person who's under oath. And so we looked at it. We never thought about looking at the first page. We were so fixated on why this certificate didn't fail. but one of your graduates, they already knew it. They already knew because they had the experience, they had training, they knew to look at everything. And here's the thing, I made more money off of the deal than they did. They were paid very well, but I made more money off the deal than they did. And so that also, these feelings of I always tell people all the time, I own a signing service, but I only started one because I didn't like working for other signing services. And there comes a point, if you want to scale, you can only have a network so big, then that network has to get bigger. And so, with this taking off, I'm really hoping to partner with more of your students and get the word out to list themselves as a runner, list themselves with the training, make sure they're flaring that certificate, make sure they're waving it like a flag. I think I'm one of the larger signing services other than the banks that own their own signing service. I think I'm one of the larger ones in the country at this point. And, we are looking for notaries that, like when we do apostille, I'm going to be looking for your certificate. I'm going to be looking, what do you know? And who can I trust? And I trust you. I trust you, and the proof has been in the pudding so far. I have not worked with one person yet. It's a big world, but I have not worked with one person yet that has trained with you that is not knowledgeable and able to guide me in the process. I'm basically just pulling in the business. So imagine if those people are knowledgeable, knew how to do what I do to get the business. Then they'll love me so much, they'll let me retire and I'll have a good paying job.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Mr. John, I want to thank you for talking with me today. I want to get this word out, between our communities, and I'll send you the links to these places where they can sign up, and we'll be able to get the word out for notaries, and we've said it before in other sessions, not you and I, but the notary community. It's all about working together. It's about networking. It's about finding, your tribe. I really believe between the dedication that's our motto at signing Notary Stars. That's what we always say, is we're dedicated to signing agent excellence. Between those who are dedicated to signing agent excellence and those who are dedicating themselves to being a wonderful apostille agent through you, I think between the two, we should be able to really take, our businesses with apostilles to another level this year.
I totally agree. Yes. Yes. That's definitely what I'm looking for, and I think it will happen. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna actually stop this recording. We can stick around for a few minutes, but I want to get this word out, so I'm gonna stop the recording so it'll start uh, doing its magic on the other end, so we can get it out to the notaries.
But thank you. I've really enjoyed this, and it's good stuff you put out there, Ronnie. That's what's important. It's good stuff, and it's true, and it works.
Same thing to you, and I will say this while we're still recording, and then I'll stop. What I love about working with you is that we're not doing smoke and mirrors. We're not overcharging. We're getting our value for the education that we provide. We're doing that, conservatively. And what I love working about you, and I want to mention Miss Carol in this too. I used to do videos like this with Miss Carol, and I miss her a lot, and I know you were very fond of her as well. But
Yes,
what I
definitely.
love about working with you is that we're not going for the wow factor. We're not trying to push something. We're there to help people find us. We help them. And I feel very, very good when I'm working with you. Like, I feel like we're very like-minded. We do completely different things, but we're very like-minded, and there's some room for crossover there. And when I talk to you, I feel that essence of Carol in the room. Like I really do. Like, she and I had a very special relationship, and when I talk to you, like off of calls like this, you're very much just a down-to-earth, real person. There's never been an ulterior motive with you, which I just find so refreshing and appreciative, because in this industry, unfortunately, we've gotten so big in this industry as a community. We've also flung the doors open for buy this, buy that, let me upgrade this, let me do that. And it can be like a little like, wow, I don't know where I'm at. So you're very grounded in that way, and it makes me feel very grounded to be
Thank you.
around you. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
All right, let's stop the recording there.